Manifestation begins long before the world sees any evidence of your desire. And if you listen closely, right now, you can feel the quiet truth behind those words. Manifestation is not a chase, not a struggle, not a desperate reaching towards something outside you. Manifestation is an inner event, a shift of identity, a silent knowing that rearranges the world around you with the precision of a dream obeying its dreamer. Imagine this: a single breath, a single thought, a single moment of awareness, and the entire structure of your reality begins to reassemble itself, quietly, obediently, faithfully. This is where your power has always lived, not in effort, not in force, not in waiting, but in the invisible movement of your inner world. For the next few minutes, I'm not just going to talk at you, I'm going to take you through a passageway, a shift, a remembering. Because by the time this journey ends, you won't simply understand manifestation, you will feel it. You will sense the exact mechanism that has been shaping your life since before you ever had a name for it. Something ancient in you is about to wake up. So give yourself this moment fully. Let the outside world fade. Let your breath soften. Let your mind open like a door returning to a familiar place. Now, follow me. Go back, far back, to a moment in your life when something you desperately wanted refused to come. A relationship, an opportunity, a message, a yes. Something that consumed your thoughts, filled your mind, lived in your imagination day and night, and yet it never arrived. Now contrast it with another moment, a time when something remarkable appeared effortlessly. You barely thought about it. You didn't chase it. You didn't obsess over timing or signs, and yet it unfolded perfectly, almost mysteriously, as though life had been waiting for the moment you stopped pushing. Why does reality behave this way? Why does desire sometimes cling to you like a shadow and other times slip effortlessly into your hands? Here is the hidden mechanism most people never see. Reality does not respond to what you want. Reality responds to who you are being. Not the you who speaks words, not the you who tries hard, but the you who lives in your state, moment by moment. Neville Goddard said it clearly: assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He did not say wish for it. He did not say hope for it. He said assume it, become it, embody it. Because when you assume, you stop asking, you stop waiting, you stop checking for proof, you stop signaling to reality that something is missing. You shift into the version of you who already has the thing, and the outer world, powerless to resist, must follow the command of that inner identity. This is the true nature of manifestation, and right now, it is awakening in you. Before we go deeper, let me ask you something, and answer this in the comments for your own clarity. When was the moment you realized your thoughts were shaping your reality? What moment of your life served as proof that imagination and manifestation are inseparable? Reflect on that. Let it rise. Something in you remembers. Now, breathe. Because everything we explore next will change the way you walk through the world. For most people, the problem is not desire. It is not lack of action. It is not timing or luck or failure. The problem is their state. They want the relationship while living in the state of loneliness. They want the opportunity while living in the state of unworthiness. They want the money while living in the state of lack. They want the breakthrough while living in the state of waiting. And the state always wins. Because manifestation cannot contradict the inner world. Your reality is not a judge, it is a mirror. This is why chasing a desire pushes it away. This is why obsessing over timing creates delay. This is why checking for signs reveals nothing but absence. When you look for proof, you declare you don't have it. When you chase, you confess it is far. When you wait, you proclaim it is missing. And reality reflects you faithfully. But something incredible happens the moment you stop. The moment you stop chasing, stop looking, stop waiting, stop grasping at timelines, your inner world relaxes into the state of already having. And when that shift happens, when the identity changes, the manifestation becomes inevitable. You have felt this before. The moment you stop caring, things show up. The moment you release your grip, the door opens. The moment you let go, life brings you what you were trying so hard to force. That is not coincidence, that is law. But here's the part almost no one understands. You cannot fake detachment. You cannot pretend not to care. You cannot tell yourself, I let go, while checking your phone every hour. You cannot say, I trust, while feeling the tension of waiting in your chest. Reality does not respond to words. It responds to your state. So the real question becomes, how do you actually shift your state? How do you stop chasing without pretending? How do you embody the version of you who already has the thing, even when the physical world has not yet caught up? Because once you understand this, once you learn how to align your inner world with your chosen identity, manifestation becomes not just possible, but effortless. This is the doorway we now step through together. Feel the air around you change, a calm spreading, a clarity rising, a sense of something rearranging inside you, something ancient, something powerful, something that has been calling your attention for years. The first step is simple. Stop chasing. Not because you don't care, not because you're giving up, but because the version of you who already has the manifestation does not chase anything. You must become that version. Ask yourself, if it were already done, how would I feel? Would I be anxious? Would I be refreshing my phone? Would I be watching the calendar, the clock, the signs? No. You would be at ease. You would be calm. You would move through your day with a quiet certainty that reality is simply catching up to who you already are. That state, that quiet knowing, is the birthplace of manifestation. Every desire you hold is waiting for you to enter that state, and the moment you do, everything begins to shift. But there is a deeper layer still, a truth that will change your understanding forever. What if everything you call reality began inside your imagination? What if the outer world is not a cause, but an effect? What if manifestation is not something you achieve, but something you remember? Let that settle in your chest like a slow, warm light, because now we cross the threshold into Act 2. But the dream was never outside you. The air around you is different now, quieter, clearer, as though something within you has already begun shifting its weight, preparing to stand where it once knelt. This is the beginning of revelation, the moment when truth stops being an idea and becomes an experience. Manifestation is no longer a concept you study, but a force you feel. Listen closely, because what comes next is the moment most people miss, the moment that would change everything if they simply knew how to see it. You've stopped chasing. You've allowed your breath to ease. You've stepped into a state approaching already done. But now you must learn how to stay there. This is where the world tests you, not to judge you, not to challenge you, but to reveal what you truly believe. Doubt comes, silence comes, the gap appears, that quiet space where nothing seems to move. And most people break here. They panic, they check for signs, they slip back into waiting, worrying, wondering. But those who understand the law, those who understand manifestation, they know the gap is not an obstacle, it is evidence. It is the space where the outer world reconfigures itself to match your state. It is the invisible machinery of creation moving into place. And if you can remain still, internally, emotionally, energetically still, something extraordinary begins to happen. Your identity stabilizes, your assumption roots itself, your manifestation becomes inevitable. This is the art Neville called persistence in the assumption. Not effort, not strain, not pretending, persistence. A soft, quiet, unshakable knowing. But before we go deeper, let me something vital, something only a handful of people ever apply. You do not manifest what you think. You manifest what you are. And who you are is determined moment by your state. You can repeat affirmations all day and still live in the state of lack. You can visualize for hours and still embody the state of waiting. You can pray, journal, meditate, and still hold the heartbeat of someone who does not yet have the thing. But when you shift your state, when you become the one who already possesses the desire, you no longer try to manifest, you express, you outpicture, you reveal. You allow the dream to step forward, because manifestation is not a technique, it is an identity shift. And this is where the revelation deepens. Around this moment in the journey, here is where I invite you gently, naturally into commitment. If you're ready to live this truth, not just hear it, join the 21-day challenge to create your dream life. The link is below. Now breathe. We continue, because your story is just beginning. The second step of the inner transformation is subtle, delicate, and yet it determines whether your manifestation arrives with ease or remains forever out of reach. You must make peace with the unknown. Read that again with your inner ear. Make peace with the unknown. Most people oscillate between two states, wanting control, fearing uncertainty. But manifestation requires surrender, not surrender of desire, but surrender of timelines, surrender of method, surrender of how. Because the version of you who already has the thing is not checking how it will arrive. They are not controlling the path. They are not measuring progress. They are not watching the door. They are simply living, breathing, being in the state of possession, in the state of fulfillment, in the state of identity. This is why Neville said, fall asleep feeling the wish fulfilled. Not fall asleep checking for proof, not fall asleep waiting for signs, not fall asleep hoping the world cooperates, but dwelling in the end, as though the end were already here. Because to the subconscious, to the creative power within you, time is irrelevant. Only state exists. Only assumption exists. Only identity exists. The moment you adopt the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the seed is planted. The manifestation is set. The outer world must follow. But let's be honest with each other. Deeply honest. Even after assuming, even after shifting, even after you feel the inner click of knowing, there comes a moment where nothing happens, a moment where the world looks unchanged, a moment where silence sits like a stone in your chest. This is the part that breaks the untrained mind, but you are training yourself now. You are learning the way of the mystic. You are learning the way of creation. So hear this. The silence is not failure. The silence is confirmation. Because for the first time, you are not reacting to appearances. You are not seeking external validation. You are not giving your power back to the world. You are remaining faithful. Faithful to the inner state, faithful to the assumption, faithful to the version of you who already has the desire. This faith is not belief. It is identity. And identity bends reality. But here comes your next revelation, one that will ignite your understanding of manifestation in a way you've never felt. The outer world is not slow. You are simply fast. Your inner world moves instantly. Your identity can change in a single breath. Your assumption can shift in seconds. But the physical world, dense, structured, obedient, must reorganize itself to match the new pattern. That takes a moment. Not a long moment, just a moment. This is the gap. But the gap is not a void. It is construction. It is reshaping. It is alignment. When you understand this, you stop fearing silence. You stop panicking in the unknown. You stop sabotaging your manifestation by reacting to appearances. You learn to stand still, beautifully still, while the world moves around you. That stillness is your power, because only the one who knows creation is finished can rest. Soon you'll understand why this moment changes everything, because you are beginning to sense something extraordinary. Manifestation is not about bringing something into your world. It is about revealing what was already planted in you. Your desire is not random. It is memory. It is potential calling itself into form. You desire it because it is already yours. This is the secret. This is the revelation. This is why when you stop reaching outward and turn inward, things finally appear. The outer world is simply following the blueprint you hold inside. Let's go deeper still. Feel this. There is a version of you, a living, breathing, conscious version of you, who already has the relationship, the opportunity, the abundance, the peace, the life you want. You are not trying to become them, you are remembering them. Manifestation is not creation, it is selection. You select the state. You select the identity. You select the version of you who already embodies the desire. And the physical world bends itself accordingly. Reality is fluid. Identity is the container that shapes it. This is why your imagination is sacred. It is the portal through which you enter another version of yourself. Neville called imagination the creative power of God. Murphy called it the treasure house within. Both pointed to the same truth: your inner image determines your outer experience. And the moment you adopt the inner image of fulfillment, not forcefully, but naturally, something shifts. Quietly, softly, inevitably. The world begins to move. And when you realize what this truly means, everything shifts. Because you now understand the power was never outside you. The waiting was never real. The lack was never true. You were the operant power all along. And now, as we stand at the threshold, you are ready to unlock the final step. The step that turns inner knowing into outer evidence. The step that collapses the gap. The step that brings manifestation into physical form. The moment you've been moving toward, quietly, steadily, almost unknowingly, is here. Act 3 is not an ending. It is the ignition point. the place where identity, imagination, and manifestation merge into a single undeniable truth. Listen with the deepest part of yourself now, because if Act 1 awakened you, and Act 2 revealed you, Act 3 returns you to yourself. Something remarkable happens when you no longer chase a desire, when you no longer beg reality to change, when you no longer measure the world for proof of what you already know. A stillness opens inside you, a stillness vast enough to hold a new world. Not the world you were given, the world you choose. In this stillness, something ancient awakens, a power so subtle it could be mistaken for silence, yet so immense it shapes universes. This is the power Neville spoke of when he said, "You are God dreaming your world into being." Not metaphorically, not philosophically, literally. Your world is your dream. Your identity is the dreamer. Your imagination is the source. Your assumption is the command. And when you dwell in the end, the world obeys. So now, here in this moment, with your breath steady, your heart softened, your awareness sharpened, we step into the final realization. Manifestation is not a future event. Manifestation is a present identity. You do not wait for it. You do not hope for it. You do not bargain, negotiate, or seek signs. You become the one who already has it, and everything else rearranges, because reality cannot resist identity. Feel into this. Not with your mind, that is too small. Not with logic, that is too shallow. Feel with the center of your being. Every desire you have ever held, every longing, every dream, every ache, is not a request for something new. It is a memory returning, a remembrance of a version of you that already exists. The version of you in another timeline, another state, another dimension of consciousness. The version who already lives the life you seek. Manifestation is the merging of timelines, the selection of identity, the alignment of inner and outer worlds. This is why desire feels familiar. This is why you recognize what you've never had. This is why the dream feels like home, because it is home. You are not chasing a possibility. You are returning to a truth. There's a reason you're still listening. Something is calling you back to remember. Because the final step of manifestation is not action. It is not effort. It is not ritual, technique, or repetition. It is being, pure being. The kind of being that does not waver in silence, the kind that does not panic in delay, the kind that does not seek proof from the world it is creating. This is the being Neville called living in the end. This is the being Joseph Murphy called the feeling of answered prayer. This is the being Abdullah called standing firm. It is the posture of someone who knows the truth before the world echoes it. And when you stand in that posture, the world falls in line. So now we complete the triad. You stopped chasing, you stabilized your state, and now you lock it in. How? By embracing the most misunderstood, most avoided, most powerful part of the entire process, the silence before the manifestation. This silence is not emptiness, it is creation. It is the soil protecting the seed. It is the night sky holding the stars. It is the womb assembling life in the unseen. Silence is the sign that what you assumed is taking shape. People fear silence. You will learn to love it, because silence is not nothing happening. Silence is everything happening. When the world goes quiet around your desire, it is only because reality is busy aligning beneath the surface. The silence is not the absence of evidence. It is the gestation of inevitability. When you feel nothing, when you see nothing, when you hear nothing, that is when you must become everything. Certain, unmoved, still, not because you don't care, but because you know. This knowing, this stillness, this inner completion is what brings the manifestation into form. The moment you no longer need it is the moment it arrives. The moment you stop searching is the moment it finds you. The moment you stop holding it apart from yourself is the moment it merges with your world. Now breathe again, slowly. Feel the shift. Something in you has already changed, Something quiet and powerful has taken root. You are no longer the version of you who hoped, or wished, or doubted, or waited. You are the version who knows. This is ascension, not upward but inward, not rising above life but rising into yourself, because the highest self is not in the sky, it is in the state, and you have entered the state. Here is the final revelation, the one everything has been guiding you toward. You do not create your reality, you select it. From infinite possibilities, infinite selves, infinite outcomes, you choose the version of you that feels true. You inhabit that version. You breathe as them, you move as them, you assume as them. And the physical world reshapes itself accordingly, not slowly, faithfully, because the world cannot deny the one who knows who they are. So now, you stand at a new threshold, not the threshold of desire, but the threshold of identity. What you want is already true in another dimension of you, and the bridge between you and that version is your state, not your effort, not your time, not your action, your state. And now, as the energy begins to rise, as the truth settles deeper into your chest like a glowing ember, you feel it, don't you? That subtle click, that gentle alignment, that unmistakable knowing, it's already yours. Not someday, not soon, not if you do everything right. Now, here, in this breath, in this identity. Because the moment you become the version of yourself who has it, reality has no choice but to comply. This is the law, unbreakable, unchanging, unbiased, immediate. You are the operant power. You always were. So let me leave you with this, not an ending, but a doorway. If this awakens something in you, stay close. The next revelation is already forming. You're not stepping into a new life, you're stepping into the life that was always yours. You're not remembering something new, you're remembering something eternal. You're not becoming who you want to be, you're becoming who you already are. And the dream continues inside you.